If you were a detective and you had to solve a crime that took place not only in a physical place, but across the dimension of time.
Feel like you were going somewhere else with that, but yeah, sure, absolutely. I mean, the idea of being Time Cop and being Jean-Claude Van Damme.
Doctor Who.
I've never seen that show.
Are you serious?
The only time I've ever seen it, I watched an episode because people were like, "Oh, there's these statues that like come to life and they chase you and they're really creepy." And I was like, "I don't know what you're talking about."
Which Doctor Who did you watch?
I have no idea. I didn't even realize there were like 37 of them until later on.
I watched the really, really old Doctor Who.
I watched the Crying Statues of Terror episode and I was like, "Oh yeah, those things are pretty creepy." And that was the last and the first episode that I'd ever seen.
I watched it when I was a young kid. I have not watched any of the new Doctor Who. So I liked Doctor Who before it was popular, so I guess I'm a hipster.
Well, Doctor Who's now a woman.
What? Well, hey, there you go. Hey guys, I'm Crypto Spook, and this is Timelock VR.
And this is Moriarty.
So the game has this awful notification noise in it, which is really loud in your ears, and it just goes, BAP! Like it sounds like it sounds like a MIDI prompt, like you would have if you had a computer speaker still. Do you know what I mean? Like where it plugs directly into the motherboard?
Yeah, now that you've said that, I hear that.
That is specifically what that is. So there is a 5-volt speaker hooked up to this trackpad, I guess, that you're using.
Burp, burp, burp.
So it's basically an escape the room game. However, they added in a new interesting twist, which is the ability to travel forward and backwards in time. You have weapons, there are enemies at some points, and you can shoot a bow at stuff, and you can control things that you throw. Like you can make it go backwards in time, and you can pick stuff up from a distance with your little red laser. It's fairly interesting.
So as far as escape the rooms go, pretty good?
It was definitely difficult, I'll give it that.
Interesting? I mean, like, I'm looking at the concept, right? The idea of, oh, you got to move back and forth in time and everything. And it definitely seems a little bit more interesting because, you've got more environments that you're in.
I didn't get through the first house. I tried for probably like an hour, and this is the second time I'm playing through this, and I still could not figure out how to get into this freaking safe in the bedroom. And I know I'm totally ruining it here, but man, is it hard. Like, the puzzles are good. There's some good puzzles. I will give them that.
Well, you just threw the key to open up that bathroom thing.
Keep in mind, this is the second time I've played through this.
Oh, it's not the right key.
So this is kind of, I guess this is like a tutorial level, but it is definitely hard enough.
So, tutorial too hard.
Tutorial real hard, yeah, guaranteed. Although there was a mini tutorial in the beginning of it.
You really don't want these games to be easy, do you?
No, definitely not. But, I mean, sometimes, like, you have to just be... Like, it's stupid stuff sometimes where you're like, really, how was I supposed to know that? Based off of this marking being on the floor that kind of vaguely resembles a gas can that I now know you can hook to the stove. So, the namesake of the game is Time Lock. And this is a scenario that occurs during each mission, apparently. I guess your time-traveling device has some kind of problem with it, and you get locked out of being able to travel through time, and you get locked into some kind of world where there are these flying things that are shooting electrical balls at you, which doesn't make a lot of sense to me, but hey, that's what's going on here.
They kind of look like Space Invaders.
They are definitely Space Invaders. You're being attacked by Space Invaders.
You know what? I'm alright with that. So then you have to like do an exploration type of stuff or what?
You have to go and get, I guess it's called like the time lock engine or something like that he needs, and then you bring it to him, and then once you do that, you're able to go back into the puzzle. So I mean, I guess maybe they plan to do more stuff with it later on in the game, but I didn't really find it that interesting,
It just seems like basically they wanted to make a escape the room without just being a basic boring escape the room game, and I can actually applaud that because we've played more than our fair share of escape the room stuff, and they can tend to be pretty dull.
They definitely, I wouldn't say dull, they're usually pretty interesting.
The thing is that once you've played one, they're all kind of the same. there's never really a whole lot of uniqueness in the Escape the Room games. We've played a couple here and there where it's a little bit more unique, but generally speaking, they're all kind of similar. That's what I mean.
They are very similar. However, this one at least tried to go outside the realm of what we normally expect in one, and you're right, that is something to be applauded. How far they went out, I don't know. I feel like they could have probably done a little more with it, maybe added some voice characters to the game. That would have been really nice.
But then you might have gotten the bad voice acting.
You know what? I would take bad voice acting to the computer speaker prompt beep.
Beep,
Beep, beep. Postcode 1, everything's good. But I can pull things backwards in time.
Rather than move a foot and a half over, you try to throw it.
Well, they say that you can do fine adjustments on things you throw with the pointer, but I don't know what they meant by that exactly.
Is that because you were bad?
I was very bad at throwing stuff. Throwing stuff in this game is hard. It's very hard.
It looks interesting. You get to have a couple of interesting little puzzles. You get to have a lot of different environments. You get to see things in different perspectives and try different cool things. And there's enemies and things like that. I like the fact that they decided to do interesting stuff.
I do too. I just wish the game was a little bit more fleshed out.
So did you have fun?
It was fun trying to beat the puzzles, yes. I certainly did not mind any kind of puzzle game. Puzzles are always fun to me, especially once you finally get it and then you get that, oh, I'm such an idiot moment.
That moment is probably the best part and the worst part of playing any of these games, because you go, oh man, come on, was it really that simple?
45 minutes later.
Oh, I can't believe I didn't look in that one spot. I thought that was just black, and no, there's a black hand thing in there that I should have, oh man.
Speaking of which, a flashlight would have been freaking great.
The only game I can remember, an Escape the Room game that had a flashlight, was Survive. You know, Survivor?
Yes, that's true, but they used it for a whole bunch of different other stuff too.
So this game is $9.
Wow, that's a great price for this.
So I don't need to ask you, would you pay that price?
First question, how much more content is there? Because I couldn't get past the first one. If this is the entirety of the game, I'm going to say $9 is overpriced. However, if there's another 5 levels to the game, then I'm going to say $9 is a great price.
I don't know.
Well, there you have it. That's my answer. If there are 5 more levels to the game, then $9 is a steal for this game. It was pretty fun. I could see myself spending $9 for the amount of time I played it.
You know what? $9 is a great price to me for any Escape the Room, simply because as long as it's not a terrible Escape the Room, you know, it's probably worth it for somebody who enjoys that. You've got to understand, obviously, the chief thing about an Escape the Room is that you're only really going to get to do it once.
You can't unbeat a puzzle. You can't rebeat it in a different way.
That's always a part for me. Do I think $8 is worth it, or $9 is worth it? If you've got an hour or two of content. That's really all that matters to me. If you've got, you know, a good 2 hours of content, even if it's one puzzle that lasts for 2 hours, great. There you go. You've fulfilled my requirement of less than $5 an hour, and I'm feeling good about it. So there you go, guys. That is Timelock. If you like it, like it. If you don't like it, don't like it. But if you did like it, why don't you watch yet another video up there in the corner? And as always,
we'll see you on the next one.